Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. This story is a wild one and actually kind of concerning considering it took place in my old home, or not far from my own home in New South Wales. And quite literally, I used to sell houses not far from where this game actually took place in Pennant Hills. Believe it or not, this story is insane. But hey, we live in that day and age where we must be all inclusive, right? So let's get into it. Flying bats. These people that I'm going to be talking about, the ones that choose to accept these dingbats and the ones that actually are the dingbats in the story, they are definitely dingbats. And that's what I'll be referring to them from now on, moving forward in this story. Absolute dingbats. And there's 5 of them, people, and then all the others that just choose to go along with it. Australian women's soccer team featuring 5 trans players, so 5 males, wins grand final amid tight security after going undefeated all season. Yeah. Okay. This is a stupid occurrence, but gotta be all inclusive, people. Australia's most controversial soccer team. Imagine having that as your title, right? We're the most controversial soccer team. Gee, I wonder why that is. Could it be that we've got 5 men in our team that's a women's soccer team? Yeah, right. Okay. They've won the grand final after going through their season undefeated. Gee, I wonder why that is. You've got 1 biological male on your team. You have a significantly high advantage. You have 5 of them. No wonder you're undefeated. Yeah. Like, good grief, man. Sydney-based Flying Bats FC made headlines around the globe earlier this year after it was revealed that 5 of the team's women's side were made up of transgender players. They should have just said they're made up of 5 men. The team's presence in the women's competition led to complaints from club officials and parents, while high-profile figures like J.K. Rowling and Lucy Zelick have also criticized their participation. Yeah, I think it's rather absurd, if you ask me, how this team thought that it would be a good idea to have 5 players on the team as being men. But it's also rather genius when you think about it too, because they want to win, right? Yeah, they want to win for sure. Now, these trans players, you'll see in just a moment, they tower over the women. So is it any wonder, like, that they were undefeated? And now it can be revealed that the team have capped off an undefeated season in the Women's Premier League competition, which they have won all 16 of their regular season matches while scoring 65 goals and conceding just 4 in the process by winning the grand final on Sunday. Zelick posted the scoreboard at the ground with the final 5-4 scoreline over West Pennant Hills Cherrybrook Football Club, stating her disappointment at the results. Full-time, Flying Bats FC win the premiership and the grand final. Trans-identified players will be crowned champions in the Women's Premier League division, otherwise known as Cheats. She posted with the hashtag Save Women's Sports. Somehow this is supposed to represent progress. Somewhere the custodians of our game do not care. And there's also a photo of these so-called custodians shaking the hands of the men walking past. Well done. Great game. You didn't cheat, but great game. You actually did cheat, but hey, these custodians don't really think so. Look at this. This would be like me going up against Dennis Rodman or Shaq in the basketball, or someone that's like twice my size. Are you kidding me? And this person looks like not much effort has been done to make this person look like a female. Got an Adam's apple, man. And thick as legs and really tall. Look at the woman that this person is leaning on, for goodness sake. Like, what the hell? And all the other dudes too. Like, there's one in the background leaning up against a bigger size female, but still, like, this is madness, man. The game was held at 3 p.m. at Christie Park with security guards present at the venue. Gee, I would have loved to be a security guard. What are you here for? Oh, we've got to make sure that no one goes and storms the ground because the men on the field, I'm sorry, what? Isn't this a women's match? Yeah, but we've got to be inclusive now. Oh, geez, man. Discouraging the use of professional photography equipment and checking people's phones for images taken of the match. So we're not allowed to photograph any of this because God forbid that any of these photos leak to the press or the public, because there would be damn outrage and a damn outcry. Gee, I can't imagine why that is. Honestly, the scores were locked at 3-3 at halftime before the Flying Bats made a host of changes and edged clear in the second half. The changes being, we put the men on the field. We put the men against the women. We had 5 men all on the field. We benched 5 women that were supposed to be on the field. We put all the men on and said, go for gold, mate. Go for it. One of the transgender players was issued a yellow card during the match. Oh, I would have loved to be the referee to do that. Yellow card. Ma'am. Oh, dear. While a transgender player was named best on the ground after the tied finish. I'm presuming it was the tall dude with the long hair. Football New South Wales has removed the identities of the Flying Bats players from their websites. I wonder why that is. Daily Mail Australia has elected not to reveal their identities. Why not, man? I think these people should be named and shamed, don't you? But hey, got to be all about safety, man. All about safety. We can't name them. So here's a photo I was referring to a moment ago with the custodians shaking the hands of the dudes walking past them. And look at the jersey, by the way. It seems like these women on the field are actually all accepting of this trans craze and trans madness because they're wearing the flag. So it's actually a woke team going up against somewhat reality and insane people, more than likely ones that don't believe in any of this nonsense. Otherwise, they would have done the same thing, right? They've found a giant loophole because New South Wales has allowed this stupidity to go on. The beaten West Pennant Hills Cherrybrook Football Club posted describing the loss as heartbreaking. Yeah, because it wasn't fair. And praising their players for pushing the Flying Bats all the way. I mean, they did a great job for the first half. But yeah, second half didn't look like it was going to be favourable to the West Pennant Hills Cherrybrook Football Club because 5 men on the field? Nah. Our Premier League women's team have left everything on Christie Park this afternoon, losing 5-4 in heartbreaking fashion to the Flying Bats. The Flying Dingbats. The Flying Dingbats, I should say. Sorry, this story is just crazy, man. The club posted on Facebook, you embodied everything it means to play for our club over an amazing 90 minutes of football. We could not be prouder of you girls. 2GB's Ben Fordham, who I've actually interviewed and met, who's not woke in my opinion, previously revealed that 6 of the team's victories came as a result of the opposition team forfeiting, including 2 semi-final fixtures that led to their progress to the win. Gee, why is that, you may be wondering? Could it be that the women didn't want to go up against the men and they were going, nah, we're taking a stand against this madness and we're not going to allow these men to push us over and to... But nevertheless, like also the men could have injured the real women. Earlier this year, it was reported that sports governing bodies had told clubs that they would be punished if they forfeited their games against the Bats. So it looks like the governing body is all in favor of this nonsense, this madness, because you're not allowed to forfeit. Otherwise, you could be in trouble. You're punished. Right. Remember, it's a women's competition, and they have 5 transgender dingbats players, and we have some people trying to say it doesn't make a difference. Really? He said on Thursday morning show. You don't say, really? Doesn't make a single ounce of difference if you've got 1 biological male on your team. Right. It makes an enormous difference, I'll have you know. But 5? Dude. You're going to dominate. And they did. Zelek, a vocal critic of the team, responded to their successful lesson, labeling it a crime against women. I think that's a real crime against women here. It's quite disgraceful, she said. The fact that these women have been rendered voiceless in this, and if they do have a voice, they are being punished for it. It is something that needs to be explored very deeply. Imagine having to do that as well. to reach the knockout stages of the competition. It takes some real courage in this situation to stand up and say, no, we're not going to play. Both Putney Rangers and Macquarie Dragons should be commended for that. By the way, I went to the Macquarie Dragons field, and I'm glad that they decided to, take a stand to some degree. Zelek then pointed the finger out the governing bodies for what she claimed was a dereliction of duty. The people I hold accountable here that I consider the most villainous are the national sporting organizations, the ones who haven't yet acted to introduce policies to protect women and girls who are the real culprits and are responsible for allowing this circus act to continue, allowing the dingbats to fly around and beat the likes of real women everywhere. There are the people, or these are the people we really need to bring to the fore here and ask them for answers. I want to know, why don't these women's voices matter? It's just not right. On the Flying Dingbats website official, page, they claim they are the biggest LGBT whatever women's, and we can't be, the biggest plus women's because you don't even know what the hell a woman is because you're allowing men. A non-binary football club in the world. Oh, boy. Club president Jennifer Pedden, who, I don't know if Jennifer is a biological male or an actual female, but nevertheless does not care about the likes of real women. Told Daily Mail Australia in April, as a club, the Flying Dingbats FC stand strongly for inclusion and pride. Yeah, okay. Ourselves on safe, respectful, and fair play, but also cheating in the process. The promotion of a supportive community for LGBT whatever players, officials, and supporters, and a significant physical, social, and mental health benefits that participation in sports brings, especially to marginalized members. Oh, dear, we can't have the marginalized men feel oppressed. We can't have that. We are a club that values our, I hate that word, and transgender players equally. No, you don't. You don't really give a crap. You don't care about the women you're facing, do you? No. Take them out, boys. Go for it. Rail over them. We strongly support the Australian Human Rights Commission's guidelines for the inclusion of transgender and gender diverse people in sport. Of course you do. Of course you do. Because they are all for the cheating and the abuse of women, as it would seem. The guidelines state that under the Federal Sex Discrimination Act 1984, sporting organizations cannot discriminate against transgender players either directly or indirectly. Unacceptable. Can't do it. An example of direct discrimination would be a sporting organization refusing a trans woman's application for membership because it is transgender. The guidelines state, I hate how they use the pronoun she, like you're not a she, you're a dude. An example of indirect discrimination might be a sporting organization requiring a birth certificate upon registration. Okay. And not accepting any alternative form of documentation to verify a person's gender. Make all this stuff make sense, somebody please. Because one thing in the Olympics, all they require is a passport that says female, but these people, and apparently that's not indirect discrimination, but somehow asking for a birth certificate or even a passport for this is indirect discrimination and you can get in trouble for it. What the hell? Even if you are a biological male in the Olympics and still want to compete in the women's category, you're able to. Here, and that's not discrimination, but here, it's indirect discrimination. None of this makes any sense, man. None of it. Football New South Wales has developed a gender diversity policy. Of course they have. This is one thing we know nowadays. If everyone's got to have a gender diverse policy, but it only applies to the NPL New South Wales women's competition. FN New South Wales, FNSW, F New South Wales. Oh, that's funny. League, I intended that, by the way. One women's competition and F New South Wales Girls Youth League One competition. The Women's Premier League and the Flying Dingbats compete in does not come under this policy. But Football New South Wales states that these competitions could or would align with Football Australia's adoption of the Australian Human Rights Commission guidelines. So again, they found a loophole. They don't fall in line with any of the other gender diversity policies that Football New South Wales has come up with, but no, they still come under the human rights, the Australian human rights. So therefore, we're going to take that. How ridiculous. Under which community grassroots players are permitted to participate in football on the basis of their gender, with which they identify. These guidelines, along with the Sex Discrimination Act, inform the gender inclusion policies of Football Australia, Football New South Wales, and the North West Sydney Football Association at the community grassroots level at which we play. Hedden continued. Trans women, meaning men. Oh, here we go. Trans women, meaning men, belong in the women's competition because that is the gender with which they identify. Trans women, men, have played with the club for at least 20 years at levels ranging from beginner to skilled, just like our real women players. Unbelievable, man. It's like, yeah, how are we going to win all these games? I know. Let's make men identify as being women. Goes along with the Human Rights Commission. That's okay. And let them play, man. Let them play, damn it. And we're going to win. We're not going to lose. Why would we lose? Unless all the dudes are having a bad day. I mean, that would be an absolute miracle, wouldn't it? Our players are graded on ability and placed in the team that is most appropriate for their skill and experience level. Right, okay. The LGBT whatever rights Australia, they have got one. Okay. Facebook group posted a message congratulating the team shortly after they won the Beryl Ackroyd Cup and slammed critics of the side. Of course, you would. Transgender women and men have been proudly part of the Dingbats for 20 years. Yet it took turf up this until this week to take notice. The message read, sure. No, I think they've been yelling and screaming and voicing this for quite some time. This underscores that the issue isn't transgender athletes, but the exploitation of sports for political gain. Oh, you've got to love all this nonsense. You just got to love it. Congratulations to the Flying Dingbats Soccer Club who recently won whatever else. Look, I am sick and tired of this. I cannot stand at the fact that women everywhere, it's not just this, but women everywhere and girls everywhere are like being taken over by men that just want to identify as being a woman. Like, it's absurd. It needs to stop. The absolute insanity needs to dry up right now. The only thing I want for my birthday tomorrow is that this nonsense ends. That would be fantastic because then I wouldn't have to report on this anymore. That would make me very, very happy. And my blood pressure and everything else quite level and sane. Once again, please and thank you. Anyway, my friends, you guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.